Great awakening like lords and grand rising to those who have not yet awoken to know their gene expression. And in order to ascend, they must ascend through their gene expression, which is also called the astrological natal chart or the birth chart. See, through your natal chart, you have all of the genetic expressions that come from your genes or your genotype. Okay? See, when it comes to the genes, you first have the DNA, and it all corresponds with your mind. Let me show you something. It all corresponds with your mind. See, you have genes that come from DNA. The DNA is the mind, corresponding with the mind. Then you have the genes that come from the DNA. The genes are the thoughts. It's all the possibilities of the thoughts that you can think within your mind. But then the gene expression, which is the coupling of genetic codes, the coupling of different genes together, dominant and recessive, or dominant and recessive, or so forth and so forth, which is actually how the genes are expressing themselves according to their environment that they are in. So you have the mind, which is DNA. You have the genes and the genetic codes, which is all of the different thoughts and the thoughts that you can put together to make something within your mind. Then you have the gene expression, or the personality, the expression of the thoughts, and how those thoughts are being expressed according to the environment that you are experiencing. So your gene expression or your phenotype is what you need to be looking at. Your gene expression or your phenotype is your astrological energy. As above, so below, according to the law of correspondence. So how the stars were aligned and what environment you were in at that specific time due to the stars and their movements. Because it's all connected to what happens on Earth. You were sent down from the all that is, the mind, your true self, your objective true self. You were sent down through light, through all of the light, bouncing off all of the stars, all of the planets, and the electromagnetic waves that or surround the earth and take in different information from all of the different planets, which are called the houses and the signs. So if you don't think astrology is important to your life, then you need to find some type of way to constantly acknowledge your own thinking state, your thinking patterns, your personality, how you express yourself, and how it relates to the environment that you're in. But as you see, we already have the science. Astrology is the science of the soul, of the science of the mind, and how that mind broke down and created and manipulated reality to make who you think you are. So if you don't study your astrology, then you're not studying your gene expression. And if you're not studying your gene expression, then you can't epigenetically change your genes. You can't epigenetically change the way your genes are expressing themselves because of what we call the inner and outer environments. If you don't know the inner environment, then you won't know the outer environment. If you don't know the outer environment, what we call Earth, then you won't know the inner environment. So you must do both at the same time. And this is how you do it, through astrology. You see, your cells, all of the cells in your body have genetic expressions, have codes that tell them who you are at every moment. So when you were in your mother's womb, you are literally connected to other cells that hold your genetic expression, hold your information, hold your genes, your genetic codes that will only be activated when that light that comes from the cosmos hits your body. You see, all of the melanin in your skin, all of the cells in your body, they're taking in light. That light is electromagnetism, and your cells feed off electricity. Tell me if I'm wrong. So when they get that feed, when they get that food from direct contact with the sun and direct contact with all of these subtle energies, subtle lights in this reality from the stars and the planets, then that will make the gene expression of the genetic codes. You see, when you're coming out of your mother's womb, there's a reason that your head is soft. There's a reason that your dome, that your skull is soft, and your skull isn't impermanence, isn't sitting within permanence. You see, your skull is soft because you have neuromelanin in your head. You have neuromelanin around your brain and trickling down your central nervous system through your spinal cord. Your neuromelanin is the electromagnetic current, or the base of what the electromagnetic current moves in order for you to have a personality and expression, in order for you to move about and have an experience in this realm. That's what your melanin is. It is very important. When you come out of your mother's womb and your head is soft, those subtle energies can break through your skull, break through the crystal that your bones are, because they're not completely solidified. That is why your head is like that. That's why children's heads, infants' heads are like that when they're born. So as soon as that subtle energy comes through, and if they're born outside, that's direct sunlight comes through. That's it. Wow. That's the big bang for us. That's when we begin to express the genetic codes according to what environment they're in, creating our phenotype, which is our astrological energy and the expression of it. So these are the genes that are activated. Your phenotype are the genetic codes that are activated upon exiting the womb through light from the cosmos. So it is your astrological energy. And see, this is why I don't like abortion. You shouldn't be able to abort, because every person's gene expression can be changed. Every person's gene expression, if they are willing to change it, can be changed. And you can rewrite your genes for generations. Generations, don't you get it? When you abort a child, you are literally ending a possibility of existence. And what are we here to do? What are we here to do? We are here to exist as cells within cells, bodies within bodies, constantly for betterment of everything around us, all of our bodies. You can't concretely better anything when you're taking away a form of life that is willing to come through into this experience to better it. And this whole experience is based on betterment. So if people came to choose to come here, if people choose to come here, if these beings choose to come here, whether it's from a lower vibrational realm we like to call hell, or a high vibrational realm we like to call heaven, in order to come and teach and still learn. This is a realm of learning and also betterment. So no matter what circumstance there is, you should never abort a child. You should never abort yourself, because that's really just you. If you have any type of will to even do that, then you have no purpose here. And you need to find one, and you need to manipulate energy to make one. Because if you don't, then what you're doing to the children will happen to you. Karma is real. Everything is cause and effect, and everything you do gets downloaded into your gene expression, from your gene expression into your genetic code. And as you see, cells hold all the information about us. When other cells hold that exact type of information to perform that gene expression, you're gonna pop up. But based on what you've done, it's what you're going to see. Because when you come back to this realm, to the earth plane, the realm of learning and betterment, you are going to be tested even more. You are going to have all of the things that you've done to yourself done to you. You're going to have all of the things that you didn't pass, all of the lessons that you didn't pass within this realm, back again in another form. And it's going to repeat over and over and over again until you get it right. Until you become more conscious of objective facts of reality. The fact that when you were in your mother's womb and that child was sleeping, you also had another body with a similar gene expression or genetic code as that child in the womb. And as that child was sleeping, its genes were dormant. Its genetic code was dormant. It didn't express anything. But within the other body, you're active. You're living a life. You see, since that infant's genes, genetic code hasn't been activated through its astrological energy in order to be expressed, in order for the phenotype to be expressed, while it's in a dream state, all of that energy is going to another life. That consciousness is going to another life, which is another dream. Life is but a dream. Row, row, row your boat. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. That's all you got to do. Merrily, merrily. Acknowledge everything that's happening through this waters of new that we call life. This superposition, these waves of superposition. Constructively interfering with each other in making realms to experience. See, when you abort a child, you make that energy, that person's energy have to skip a whole nother lifetime to come back, to learn what they need to do to get in tune with nature and better everything around them. You are stopping that progress. So you will be accountable for it. You will be accountable for it. You must be pro-life on this mission. Pro-life meaning pro-existence, meaning pro-simulation, meaning pro-betterment and learning, pro-study. If you don't study the right things and you don't apply the knowledge and the information to your life so you can better your consciousness, expand your mind, expand your piece of the all that is so that the all can continue expanding, so that you can be in sync with this expanding, then you are not doing anything at all. And you're only subconsciously putting in negative programs, self-destructive programs that will in turn all come back on you and have you living in a reality of all of your problems, all of the things you don't like, all of the things that you don't want to take care of within your mind, within yourself as a personal expression of the all. So you must get your mind right. Get your mind right. Your phenotype is how the genotype is being expressed according to the environment that it's in. So take in this information. Go get your natal chart. Study your astrology. Because through your astrology, through you overcoming your astrology, you can change your gene expression. You can change the way you perceive things and the way that you co-create this realm for the betterment of everything. Jamashak is getting better and better, more and more every day. And genetically modifying himself back to the original state that he is meant to be in. Dealing with the issues within his natal chart, dealing with the issues within his astrological energy that is truly his genetic expression in his phenotype. Life is meant to be lived. If you are stopping the progress of living, then you are not alive. You're only alive in the being of purposelessness. And a being with no purpose cannot be betterment. Will only bring hell and destruction to itself and the realm that it's experiencing. And will continue to do so until the obstacles and challenges that it's faced with are overcome. Abortion is extortion. Abortion is an endorsement for the evil forces. You must make a better purpose. See this reality for what it is. Do everything you must do in alignment with divine oneness to get yourself to where you're supposed to be. You see, your gene expression is predicated upon the environment that you're in. So you must find out what type of ideal environment you should be in order to deal with yourself on this plane of existence. And what is that? Where does most of the light go on this planet? Since all of the plant life take in light to eat, and our melanin takes in light to eat. Where's all the food? Where are we getting our food from? Where's most of the world getting their food from? See, there's a reason in the Bible it says that God created male and female. Created he him. Created he them. Then it goes and says he created Adam and Eve, and Adam and Eve were in the Garden of Eden, right? The Garden of Eden. Garden of eating. Eating is consuming, eating is taking in energy in order to utilize it for an expression. So they were in a garden of utilizing information in order to express it. When you're in that state of thinking, you're in a state of immortality, and you're more like a child because you don't even care that you're naked. You're not supposed to care. It is unnatural to even care that you're naked. You see, we got a lot of programs in our heads that is subconsciously creating this reality that is making our subconscious Babylon. Self-destructive, unnatural thoughts. Why would you be ashamed of being naked? It says when they ate of the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, when they ate of the information that made their mind look at everything in duality from all different types of perspectives. Then they became conscious of the fact that they were naked. They became conscious of the fact of what nakedness was. But that doesn't mean be ashamed. You're only supposed to be ashamed of something. You'll only be ashamed of it if somebody told you not to do it. And you did it anyway and you got caught. And it also goes on to say they were cast out of the Garden of Eden. They were given clothes and stuff, and they were told to leave the Garden of Eden. And as they were leaving the Garden of Eden, two angels with flaming swords blocked off the gateway to the Garden of Eden. What people on this plane of existence, what people left the Garden of Eden? See, these are the types of questions you got to ask about these sacred texts that you read all the time. See, when they got kicked out of the Garden of Eden, it's because they weren't in a place on this plane, that can give you all of the information you need to be expressed. But they ate of right information, but didn't use it the right way. Didn't use it to express themselves in the right manner. That's why they were kicked out. They weren't kicked out because some guy came and was like, hey, y'all can eat anything but these trees right here. And then they ate from the trees. No. They got kicked out because they ate from the trees and they expressed it in the wrong way. In order for God to even know, if you read it, in order for God to even know that they did it. In fact, when the so-called Yah came through and saw that they had became conscious, he went back to the other guys. See, y'all don't be reading, man, read between the lines. This is in the beginning of the Bible. He went back to the other guys and said, hey, we got to stop them. They didn't already became knowledgeable about duality and all the possibilities of everything that can be. Like, man, if they get to the tree of life, if they use that knowledge correctly, they're gonna become like us, gods. They're gonna become like gods. They're gonna become like us, the manipulators of existence, the equations and the chemical reactions that make up this reality, that make up this realm that we're living in. When you use that knowledge the right way, when you become knowledgeable of the possibilities of all thoughts, and you use that information in the right way, you will become God. You will actually be acting out in this realm as an expression of an equation that holds this reality in existence, and be immortal. See, those two flaming swords, those two angels with the flaming swords, kept them out of the Garden of Eden. There's two of them. You got to think about this. What is flaming swords? Light. Where is it? Two lines where the most of the light is on the planet. It's two lines. It's two lines on the earth grid, on the earth plane. The tropics of Cancer and the tropics of Capricorn. The people that left outside of that is why we have all of these different so-called races now, because they have to genetically modify themselves to adapt to the environments that they are in, create new gene expressions. You see those two flaming swords? The only way you can get back in the Garden of Eden, is to go through those angels. You see, the Bible doesn't tell you what angels are. They just tell you they're messengers of God from heaven, but they don't tell you where heaven is. They don't explain what heaven is. There is no detailed explanation of what heaven is. And there's not much of a detailed explanation of what hell is. There's not much detailed explanation of what angels are, what God actually is specifically. Nope. There's no details. You have to know the details. What are angels? Of course, angels are messengers of God, but all throughout the Bible, it says that God is light. It says that God is light. So these angels were forms of light. Two angels, forms of light. Most of the light is that the two points of light that are hitting the earth the most are the lines of the Tropic of Cancer and the line of the Tropic of Cancer and the line of the Tropic of Capricorn. We're supposed to be in between those lines. The only way you can get through those angels is to know what they are. They are light. They're a thought frequency. In order to be let in, you must jump through the angel, through consciousness. So you can use all the thoughts outside of the Garden of Eden, outside the tropics, of all of the possibilities of what you can do. Because that energy is constantly flowing out around the earth from the tropics. It goes out, it breathes, it goes out, the earth breathes. That's why we have seasons. The earth breathes, that's why we have seasons. You got the earth going in, the earth coming back to the tropics, going outside of the tropics, coming back to the tropics. Breathing. So the information is out here. When you use that information the right way, you will be faced with those lights, those angles of light. the thought forms that you need to get past and materialize and become in order for the gate to be opened, in order for those angels to move out the way. But see, they're not going to teach you this in church. You have to realize that the earth is the church. The wild is the church. The expression of biological energy around you is the church. The expression of scientific facts is the church. That is the true church. Don't let these religions fool you into self-destruction by thinking that you can abort a fetus. You can abort another part of yourself and get away with it. By thinking that you can do anything, first mentally, then physically expressed, and get away with it. When it's negative, when it's self-destructive thoughts. You are the only person that exists, and everything else exists as a fractal of you, a fractal representation of what you already are and how you work. So in order to heal ourselves and heal our DNA, heal our genetic code, and redo our gene expression, we must attain the right mental environment in order to get to the right physical environment. And in order to get to the tropics, you must first think, connect to nature, connect back to nature. Don't think on too much on how. Just envision yourself being the best person you can be, connected with nature and doing what nature wants you to do, doing what your higher self, you really want to do. So that you can traverse through your past lives, so you can fix your past lives and connect with your future self and experience the heading towards your future self through this recording of life. Don't fuck up and end up being an aborted fetus, because no one's going to be able to help you but you. I love myself, family. I want everyone to be here and be more, be better, connect with your objective reality, the nature of things, which science means. Science is the study and observation of nature. But what do you do with that study and that observation? Once you come to your conclusions, you apply those conclusions as equations that you can use in your own life through your own mental faculties. Then that's spirituality. Spirituality is living out or expressing what one has come to from studying and observing nature. Spirit means nothing but life, and ality means nothing but being. So the usage of science in your daily life is true spirituality. The usage of science consistently to reprogram your subconscious is being life. That is true being, and that is the only way. There is no other way. The only way, the narrow path, the righteous path, the Christ consciousness. So connect with yourself and study and study and study and see all of the different ways that you connect to everything. Constantly better yourself and put them subconscious programs inside of you. I love myself. Gene expression, life before death, and abortion. Think about it. Peace.